Okay, so now that you've done some black and white filters, let's make some color filters. To make a color filter, it's going to be a very similar process, only rather than getting a black and white image, you can get the different color channels separately, so you can get red and green and blue separately. And then instead of setting a black and white image, there's going to be a different setter method here as well. So let's make two filters. So we'll start with a color flipping one, and then we'll maybe add some color noise. So let's start by making a copy of horizontal flip black white, except this one I'm going to call horizontal flip color. And now let's look at the API for a second. So this comes from the original slides. This is the API for the image provider class. So notice the methods that we've used already. We have used get BW image, and we've used set BW image. But the image provider provides all these other methods. So it's got a method for get blue, get green, get red, and get alpha, alpha being the transparency channel. And then it's also got a set colors method where you give it a red, green, blue, and alpha as input, and it will set the image to be all of those colors. So before, when you were using black and white images, you only had a single two-dimensional array that represented each pixel. Now you can imagine them as parallel 2D arrays. So you've got one two-dimensional array that's just the blue value for all the pixels. And you've got another two-dimensional array that's just the green value for all the pixels. So whatever you want to do, you have to use all of these separately. So let's kind of see what that looks like. Alright, so I'm going to make one called blue, and I'll have image provider.getBlue. And then blue, green, red, alpha, and then get green, get red, and get alpha. Oh, I've got a great idea. Okay, so these should all be the same size, so you can use whatever one you want for the width and height variables. Alright, and now I guess I'm going to want to make new images for each of my color channels. So I'll call this new blue, and then new green, and then new red, and then new alpha. Okay. So now as I'm looping over every single position in the image, I can get the different color values out of the different arrays. So I think what I actually want to do maybe is, well, actually let's start this way. Let's not loop over anything at all. Instead, let's just switch the color values. So instead of setting a black and white image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say filtered image dot set colors, and it's expecting me to give it red, green, blue, alpha. Instead, I'm going to give it green, red, blue, alpha. Okay, you'll notice that actually I didn't use these new arrays at all. We're going to do that in a second. I just want to make this really fast one. So this isn't obviously flipping the colors horizontally. Instead, what we're doing is we're switching two color channels. So everything that used to be, I think, red is now green and vice versa. So let's just take a look at what that looks like really quickly. So here I'm going to call this color channel flip. And then, I don't care what that is. All right, let's run it. And now I'm going to open not a black and white image, but I'm going to open a color image. Oh, cat. Okay, no, let's open this thing. Let's look at these football men. So color channel flip, yeah, cool. So clearly all the reds have become greens, just the way that we expected. Are there greens that became red? Yes. So the green of the grass has sort of become red. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's actually modify it because that's not really what I wanted to do. So let's change this back to, I'll say new red, new green, new blue, new alpha. Okay. Actually, if we ran it right now, you would see the whole image is black because these arrays are full of zeros when you first create them. And so if we ran it, it would set all the colors, but the colors would all have 0 values. Let's actually go ahead and do that color flip that we were originally going to do. So it's just the same as last time, but I want to do it for each color channel. So I'm going to say new blue at row column equals the old blue at row, and then at column -1, no, sorry, at, what's it called, width -1 minus col. Okay. So that'll reverse the blues, and let's go ahead and reverse everything else as well. So blue, whoops, green, new, red, new alpha, blue, green, red, alpha. If you're thinking this seems like not that dry, it's good thinking. Because we're doing only a one-line operation here, I'm not that worried about making a helper method, but if we were doing something more complicated with each pixel, and then we were going to have to do that 5 times, it's probably worthwhile making a helper method for it. Alright, great. So I think everything looks like it's in order, so let's go ahead and run it. I'm going to let's open the butterfly, and then filter. Cool, so now that's reversed it. Oh. Now that's reversed it, but it's a color image. Okay, let's do one last thing just to show you a different kind of thing you can do. I want to add some color noise. So what noise means is that sort of at random, individual pixels are going to become randomly colored. So as I'm looping, I think here's what I want to do. I want to say if math.random is less than some probability, then I want to assign random color. Otherwise, I just want to assign the old color, right? So new blue row column is going to equal old blue row column, and so on for the other arrays. All right, great. So all right, and obviously I have to set what the probability is. So I want the probability to be fairly low. We could do this. Let's actually set this right at the very beginning of the filter. So I'll say double probability equals double.parse double JOption pane.show input dialog. Enter a percent or enter a probability. Great. So I'm imagining they'll type something like 0.1 for 10% probability, and then sort of 1 out of every 10 pixels is going to get assigned a random color. So let's do the random color assignment. So I think I want to do this. I'm going to make a helper method for this. So get rand from 0 to 255, I think is what I want. This might not be worth making a helper method for, but I'm going to anyway. All right, so here's my thing. It's returning a short max. So I'm going to return math.random times Yeah, let's do max actually, and we'll make that 256. So it's going up to but not including max. All right, cool, I'm happy. Including random transparency. You know what? I actually don't want to assign it random transparency. I want to keep whatever transparency you used to have. All right, great. Let's try it now. So let's open this pond. Very beautiful. So probability. So I'm going to do 0.1. And we see sort of a random scatter of color noise. Let's do it again. This time I'll do 0.5. And a much higher scatter, a much more frequent scatter of color noise. Okay, great. So go ahead and try some of the color filters. Good luck.